Hi, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for another episode of One Last Try. Hey,
What's up, Delenrda? How are you today?
Marcus. I'm fine, and you?
Wonderful.
I see you got that blue on.
Got the blue representing.
I see. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking today to the ladies, but hey, men, y'all can pay attention. Know your role. If I make all the decisions, why do I need you? This section of the book comes for you women who are strong-minded, very aggressive women who don't like making all the decisions, but are forced to make all the decisions. And then it's for all you women who just want to make all the decisions anyway. So I'm the type of person, people always look to me. I see you, Marcus. People always look to me for decisions or look to me on how to do things, or they're always asking me to help them do things. And I'm always the type of person who has realized that people feel like I'm the person to come to when it comes to helping them make decisions or to fulfill their purpose and dreams. I guess it's just a part of who I am. But when it comes to my home life, I want a man to lead me because I'm tired from leading everybody else. So my thing is this. I tell anybody now that I'm dating that I'm gonna ask you several times a question and I expect for an answer. I don't want you to say whatever you want. I don't say whatever you decide. I don't want to hear it. Because if you ask me what restaurant we going to, I'm going to give you an answer. Marcus, don't be looking like that. That's the truth. This is how we break down roles, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you mess up
I got to hear this.
In a marriage. Oh yeah, I'm going to go and break it down. This is how you mess up a role in the marriage.
You said mess up a role?
This is how you mess it up. This is how you mess up the role. This is how society has messed up roles for women and men.
Okay.
Simple. Now, if your wife asks you about what to spend, any of those questions, and you say whatever you want, and you do this on a consistent basis, whatever you want, every time she asks, whatever you want, I'm sorry, you are not on Coming to America. You are not that girl talking about whatever you like. No, you are the man in the relationship. You are the leader. You are the guider. You're supposed to be the person that goes to God before I do. When I ask you a question, you should give me an answer or say, well, baby, let's sit down and decide this together.
So whatever you want can't be his answer?
No.
Why?
Not if it's the finances or anything like that, no. Now, if it's important, no.
Wait. What part is important? How much you want to spend at the store?
Exactly. All of that. Any money you spend at the house is an important thing. Now, if you just going somewhere and you spending 20, 15, when you get up into the hundreds, you need to be having this discussion together.
Okay, so you're having a discussion together, and she says, "Baby, how much can I spend?" And his answer is, "There's little to no limit." And now she's going to be immature and run up the whole card. That's her immaturity. That ain't got nothing to do with him.
I'm not saying that's what she's going to do.
All right, I'm listening. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's what she's going to do, because any woman like me is not going to even spend stuff on herself. She's going to spend it on the family, and you have to make her go spend it on herself. What I'm saying to you is releasing yourself from your role is going to destroy your marriage. Why am I saying this? Because if she feels like she can't even go to you for a simple answer, she's going to stop going to you. You released your role. You released who you are to her when it comes to making decisions. If she's being the woman who's being submissive, if she's being that submissive woman, and ladies, if you're being that submissive woman and you're asking your man and he constantly tells you Whatever you feel is best, baby. Whatever you like. You're
Now
releasing
she's
your
left
role.
to make that decision herself.
Exactly. And if a person has just what it says, if I have to make all decisions by myself, why am I with you? Why do I need you? One thing my dad said to me and says to my brothers and I all the time, when you go to a job and you're working for someone, which thank God I'm not doing right now, I'm working still, but I still do the same thing. When you're working for someone, you make it so that person needs you. You do your job to the point where you know that if you didn't come in that day, they're going to be lost without you. And it should be the same way with your mate. Women, men, vice versa. It should be the same way with your mate. But at the same time, men, you should be leaders to the point where you're teaching your wife, if she is the type of person who spends, like Marcus was kind of, trying to see if that's what I was saying. If she is a spender, you should be man enough to be the man to teach me how not to spend that much. You should be able to tell me, well, baby, this is how much we put aside in the budget that y'all have made together or you have made because she's not prepared for it, but you still should be teaching her. So you should be doing it together. Baby, this is how much we set aside for the month for extra spending. So if you spend all this money, I can't have anything to spend anything, or we can't buy anything for the kids, or we won't have spending money to go out, or we won't have spending money to do this or do that. These are conversations that you need to have. Now, let me tell y'all what the Bible does says this. The scripture for today. Ephesians 5:23. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, his body, and himself, its savior. Now, also in the book, I placed another scripture about men managing their home because there are a lot of men that are not doing that. In Timothy 3:4, it states, he must manage his household well, with all dignity, keeping his children submissive. Why am I saying this? Because a lot of you men feel like, okay, my wife she might be making the most money. She might be the one that's out there working, you keeping the kids. It still doesn't make a difference. You're still the leader. You're still the man of the household. It doesn't matter who's making the most. It doesn't matter if you're the husband that's home keeping the kids and she's the one out there working. It doesn't matter. Because the way society is now, it might be the woman that can make the most money and somebody needs to be there with the kids. You might have a 1-year-old or 2-year-old and it's cheaper or better for your kids to be at home with the parent. But if your wife is the one that's making the 6 figures and you're making 5, I think it makes more sense for her to work and you be at home, but you're still the man. When you relinquish your role, you are destroying your marriage. You're opening up the floodgates for the devil to start bringing in people from the outside. Oh, trust me, co-workers are going to have stuff to say, girl, you making any money, your husband staying at home, and you not acting like the man. You think it's not going to get into her head? And ladies, just because you might be making all the money or he's staying at home or he's at home playing the PlayStation when you get home does not mean he is not the man of the house. It just means at that moment in time, you're the person that's better at working. Now, truthfully, Marcus, we know that that's not always the situation. There are men out there who just don't care and who are just not going to work. We know this already. But, ladies, you have to make that decision. Are you going to be with somebody like that? Is that what you're seeking in a marriage? Are you seeking a man who's just going to be a whatever? Because you made that decision when you said I do.
Yeah.
Finances are very vital and important to a marriage. So even though you're making the most, you must make those decisions together. That doesn't mean that you go out there and buy every red bottom shoe you see because you're the one making all the money. You gotta look good when you go to work.
Better paint them shoes red.
Exactly. Shoe department can make the better shoes. Them $10 shoes can be way better. Cause if you can not pay $3,000-$4,000 for a shoe and can pay $10 for that shoe, that $2,000 you just saved can go towards paying off the house or getting a bigger house. So that's something we gotta think about. Men, and I want Marcus to chime in on this. There are so many men that are taking the back seat when it comes to society, when it comes to marriage, when it comes to the church. There are too many men taking the back seat and allowing women to be the head. And that's not the order. That's not the order that God made. And there's gonna be some women that's getting ready to say something about what I'm getting ready to say. Oh, well, women should not be the leaders. That's not the order. None whatsoever. That's not the order of God. You you can be assistant. It's nothing wrong with being an assistant. There's nothing wrong with being the helpmate. There's nothing wrong with being that person and still being the strong woman you are. I don't think people have realized that we have broken down our whole family system as African American people by some women thinking, oh, I'm Miss Independent. Y'all done sat here and let these little hip hop songs and y'all done let Beyonce lose y'all mind, but Beyonce is still submissive to Jay-Z. Y'all can sit here and listen to Lemonade and all this, but that's still when it come to the boss, that's the boss of the house.
That was just for some money.
Exactly. See, that's why they got a $90 million mansion. While y'all sitting here wondering why you can barely have a $20,000 apartment.
Oh Lord.
Cause y'all want to listen to these people tell y'all the wrong stuff. See, when your house is out of order, you can't expect God to bless anything that's involved in your life. So you want to get mad and you want to tell your husband, why do I need you? You do need him. You do need him. And men, we need you. We need you to step up. Because God says that's the order of our life. And if we're out of order, we can't be blessed. See, I don't want a man in my life who can't be the man, who can't sit here and make the decisions, who can't say, well, baby, no, you did spend a little too much last month. We didn't need all them steaks because I do love steaks, so don't do me. If you married to me, please make enough money so I can get the steaks when I want them. Thank you very much. But the point is, you still should say to me, Delenrda, you spent too much in steaks this month. We went out to eat too much. I'm going to need you to cook. No, you cannot dry clean all the clothes because you tired. I'm going to need you to budget that in, though, if I'm working a lot for my future husband to understand that. Thank you. I just want to put that in there. But anyway, those are things, seriously, though. Those are things that you ought to be able to say to your husband, and he ought to be able to say to you. But you ought to be able to understand who is the leader. I think we get mad now, and I think we look at people who might be in same-sex marriages and relationships, but it all started from the breakdown of the role of the family. When you break down, when you have little children coming into a household and they see the man acting as if he is the submissive little lioness and the wife is the lion, you're confusing that child. You're bringing
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But when you have a woman who thinks she's the man in the marriage and the relationship, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, I agree with that.
No, I know you do. So, you go back to the structure and what happened in 1968 to 79-ish, 80 on, when they took the man out the house.
True.
All right, they took the man out the house when they started the census, and the women had to get on social services, comes around and check the house, and then you have to remove your uncles, your father's magic shave and boots and coats and everything, put them next door down the street. So then now they told the woman, they said, hey, you can have more money if you got kids and ain't no man in the house. So everybody started whispering to each other, girl, if you kick him out, and you got these kids, the government gonna be your husband and your daddy and your kid's daddy. And SSI gonna be even more too. You know that, right? So then they says, they're closing the plant down, so he ain't gonna have nowhere to go, and he gonna have to depend on you. So now she's in this place, she's in this role, right? She's in this place, she's in this role of having to. But then because of the laws change now too, with any type of domestic issue, call
Mhm.
us.
Mhm.
Now the police is the daddy and the uncle, and now
Mhm.
your husband, your dude, he's subject to you, he's subject to the police, and he's subject to the government.
Mhm.
Now this woman, modern day woman, after all these years of fighting for women's liberation and everything else, now you got your role, you got your CEO position, you got
Mhm.
your financial manager and all this other stuff. Never reached back and said we're gonna hire a strong black man.
Mhm.
Never reached back and said this is who we need to hire. I'm gonna hire my girl because we need to get my girl up. No, the black woman forgot about us. I'm sorry. The black woman forgot about the black man who's struggling. And not in all cases, because I know some women who have hired some brothers, and the brothers got on the job and just screwed it all up. But that was just one brother.
Mhm.
Overall, across the world, across the nation, let's just say the nation,
Mhm.
now come head of household. I'm the head of household because the government said I make more money than you. So I got to put me as the head of household, baby, because I make 70,000, even 30,000, you making 12.
Mhm.
Even 30,000, you making 29,000. And so now we have this structure that's all twisted. And this is
Mhm.
all to your point. This is all to your point that, okay, now what? What am I going to do? When my role is taken out of the house, my role is taken out of the church. How? Because your first question to me was, what happened to us with the church?
Mhm.
So now my role is taken out of the church. How my role taken out of the church? Because the preacher started only preaching to women. So when the preacher started preaching to women, he started telling the women just so he can keep his ties up and everything else, right? Everything bad about a man.
Mhm.
Never speaking positive about the brother. So the brother said, "Why am I gonna go to church for? Listen to man bashing."
Mhm.
So then he became a Muslim. Why? Because they at least is equal, and at least they'll put me in my rightful place over there as a man. Doesn't matter if I've been incarcerated or not. I'm still a man.
True.
And the women are in their position, their role as ladies. But not the church, the Christian church. No. So now you got the woman who started off, can she lead? Okay, she's leading. Ain't no men there. She's leading. So
Mhm.
she is the interim pastor or whatever and so forth. So even when a qualified man shows up, now they made her an apostle.
Mhm.
And then she wonder why she can't get a man. Well, ain't no man gonna be where a man is already at. So now it's gonna take a dude who has some beta in him, right?
Mhm.
To basically say, okay, we can share this role. We can share this role as and it's not to say women can't preach. I believe women can preach. Women,
Mhm.
women led the men actually to the grave where Jesus was, and they was the first ones to preach that he is risen.
Mhm.
Right. So I'm okay with that. But what I'm not okay with is when you have these roles in these positions. And once again, he's man bashed from the pulpit by the ladies now.
Mhm. True.
So where does he go? He becomes a Muslim. Or he goes to a church where they preach Yah, right? They preach and teach Yah. So now he's in his role as a man. So
Mhm.
now he's like, yeah, this is where it's at. And then, man, I mean, we can go on and on, but then when you have a church that may be small or not, and you start elevating men to different positions, here
Mhm.
comes some woman. I notice you'll never elevate the women to the office of a deacon. You'll never elevate the women to the office of preacher or pastor. I could co-pastor. How
Mhm.
you gonna co-pastor? You ain't even my wife, and you ain't even on my radar as a wife.
Mhm.
You don't even know what it means to be a wife, let alone him knowing what it means to be a husband. See, we like to balance it out. What about him? Like my sixth graders. He did it. You tell a kid, well, you're a teacher,
Mhm.
so you know. You tell
Mhm.
one kid, I told you to sit down. You ain't say that about them.
Exactly.
And this is what we do in our relationships. I'm dead wrong, caught doing whatever, but you ain't said that about her, Lord. She did the same thing.
Hmm.
So that's what happened to the men. So where are men at now? Incarcerated. Where they go? To be a Muslim when they get there. Because at least they make them feel like a man. When the women raise up men in the sense of her nurturing side
Mhm.
and taking on her role as nurturer,
Mhm.
she's supposed to nurture that boy into how to be a man. Now, here's one thing that maybe you can help me with. This
Mhm.
baffles me. It baffles me.
You right. Go ahead.
Okay, you don't want the man in the house with you.
Mhm.
I can do bad by myself,
Mhm.
right? You got to have a job if you want to be with me. All this stuff. She has a kid, a boy,
You finna say it. Go ahead.
and then she she says, "I can't raise him to be no man. I don't know how to raise him to be no man." Well, wait a minute. You're very good at telling grown men that he ain't no man. So that means you recognize what a man's supposed to look like. So why aren't you raising your son to be at least the type of man that you got in your mind of what a real man is supposed to be? No, I'm gonna put him on my shoes. I'm gonna color his lips with some of my lipstick, and I'm gonna tell him it's okay for him to have his hand on his hip and do his hand like mine when he arguing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to keep him around me and my girlfriends all the time, every time. He can't see his daddy, but he can see me and my girlfriends walking around halfway nude or whatever and so forth. And then we wonder why he putting on a skirt at 7, 10, 12 years old.
Hmm.
He
Exactly.
can't see his daddy, though.
Hmm.
You ain't going to be like your daddy. Your daddy ain't no good. Your daddy this, your daddy that, and so forth. Dude simply just trying to see his son,
Exactly.
trying to take him to McDonald's if nothing else. If that's all he got, at least let the man take the little kid to doggone McDonald's and quit doing parental interference and calling that boy every 5 minutes while he hanging out with his father.
Hmm. You better
You
say it.
got my son at the barbershop, hanging out at the barbershop with you all day. He's around a bunch of other men.
And that's what I understand. You said help you to understand. I don't get that either because I've seen women will place their son in a role that their father should be in, calling him the king. Look at my
That
little
was the next
king.
thing I was going to say.
When you got a man that's trying to be the father, like you said, he might not have any money. He might not even be able to pay child support. But you run and go tell the government he's not paying child because that's what they tell you to do so that you can get your food stamps, you can get your whatever money you're getting. You're running and telling the government, first of all, because you're mad because he moved on. But instead of realizing that this man actually wants to spend time with his kids, he wants to be there. So if he don't have the money to pay child support, time to me is more important than anything, especially if you can provide the clothing and the food. Let the man provide some time. If you have
Let
to
the
go to work,
man
fine.
provide.
Don't send the child to daycare if he's willing to keep the child and spend the time, the quality time. Like you said, we have women who don't realize they're training their sons to be a woman because you want to push the daddy out of the role he's supposed to be in. You want to
Right.
be the daddy and the mother. I've seen women on Father's Day, Happy Father's Day to me. You ain't the father, sit down. You are not on Jerry Springer. You are not the father. Sit down.
I'll say it until I'm die. Ain't no man gonna be where another man already at.
Exactly.
So here it is, you here it is Mother's Day, and you hollering about, I'm the man and the woman because I had to raise him and I had to do this and so forth, blah blah blah. Okay, well, did you chivalry is dead because y'all didn't teach that boy chivalry.
Exactly.
Okay, you want to know what happened to the generation? You told your son it's okay for him to have his pants down.
Hmm.
You want to know what's okay? You told your daughter that it wasn't okay for her to act a certain way, but she had to go to school. She had to be strong. She had to learn to take out her own garbage. You taught her how to fix a little one or two things that you know how to fix, but you ain't do that with your son.
Mm-mm.
You ain't teach your son how to make sure that the door is locked every night. Even if the boy's 6 and 7 years old and he got to go to bed at 8 o'clock,
You still need to do it.
teach that boy. Okay, go lock that door. This is what, because one day you're gonna have a wife, and you're
Check
gonna need to make sure
the
that you
Mm-hmm.
teach him to be the kind of man that you would want yourself.
Exactly.
And say, yo, you need to go over there and learn how to and shut the door. Make sure all the windows shut. Yes. Okay. Now you can go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to bed. Now he's being trained. Right now, she might still be up with her friends or whatever and so forth, but he did his job.
Exactly. And if he get up in the middle of the night, he gonna do it again.
Right, he gonna go pee at 3 in the morning. What he gonna do? He gonna go over
Check again.
and he
Cause
gonna
that's what
check it
you're
out.
supposed to do.
Right? Did you say your prayers? Okay, say your prayers, son. Don't
Mm-hmm.
wait. You don't wait for me. I'm a woman. You don't wait for me to tell you to say your prayers. You matter of fact, I want you to start asking me if I said my prayers.
Exactly. And teach your children to pay their tithes. Get to the point where your children are asking you, "Well, Mama, how much tithes are you paying this week?" Because that's what my children do. Mama, how much tithes you paying this week?
Right. Don't just take their allowance and take their money, whatever and so forth. Show them. I'm gonna take this dollar here. I'm gonna put it over here, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then I'm gonna show you how it draws interest,
Exactly.
right? I'm gonna do something. Now they got YouTube and everything else on how to change a battery and everything else and so
No
forth.
excuse.
Right? You got no excuse. Even a man ain't got no excuse. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
But they see the other part is they took trade schools away from the black man.
Yes, they did.
Okay, so we fighting the system, we fighting our woman,
Mm-hmm.
we fighting the laws,
Mm-hmm.
we fighting our role in the church.
Mm-hmm.
We can't see our kids.
Mm-hmm.
We can't get a job. And then because we skilled at something, they told us we can't even go to skills trades. So what are we supposed to do? Hustle, because a man provides, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we get out there and we hustle and we throw some rocks at the jail cell. Yo, they got me. They got me again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm reduced. You know what I'm reduced to? I'm reduced to being a barber. I'm reduced to being a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reduced to being a taco man pushing a cart down the street. I can't afford a truck, but I can afford this little stand here. I got to sell socks on the corner with some oils.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reduced because they told me that my credit, even though a business entity is different than my personal, but my personal is attached. So even though I get a business, they tell me I can't get a building because my personal credit is bad. But it ain't in my name, sir. This is just for the business. No, you can't get a loan. But then when you talk to the people across the bridge, they telling you, no, you can still get a loan.
And not only that, the government has it so even now that they'll give more grants to women before they give grants to men.
That's my point.
Businesses.
So now we got a minority business, a minority grant, or minority loans for small business. What is attached to it? Women.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden. I mean, it is what it is, but it is what it is what it is. The presidency, right? So okay, everybody, rah rah and Kamala, and no disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
But when you looked around the cabinet, when all the cabinet was first being picked, you ain't see no brothers. You didn't see no brothers until the brothers started making stink. That's why I got to give it up for Roland Martin,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because Roland Martin was one of the ones that was like, yo, hold up. And you know what they had? I forgot the brother's name. They had the lightest brother on there. I forget his name. I want to say James something. Anyway, they had him on there. I forgot his role because it became unimportant to me because I was upset.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, y'all gonna get the lightest brother. So then they fixed it and they gave the darkest brother the role over, what is it, NSA or something? Anyway, right? And I'm like, you know what? Don't throw me a caveat because y'all still mad because Barack won. I ain't agree with everything he did and said, but the thing is that he won.
Exactly. Exactly.
I didn't agree with every policy he put in, but these things were things that pushed people like me into a box. So here it is, you walk around with a master's degree as a black man,
Mm-hmm.
and you still can't. What was the sense of going to school? You feel like that sometimes.
True.
When the dude at minimum wage is almost making the same as you now.
You talking about taking minimum wage up to $15?
Minimum wage is gonna be $15. So you have 600 a week.
And the
600 a
person
week
who
on a
is
regular
struggling,
40-hour job, right? 40-hour a week job. A
and you
couple
just
of
struggling for a degree for nothing.
right.
And that's the whole thing I'm trying to say. Like, ladies, you want to brush a man off because he's not making the decisions, and men, you are not making the decisions, but you're not realizing how you are allowing society to constantly break down the whole structure of family, of marriage. Ladies, yeah, it might be all good. The day done told you don't have your man in the house. You can't have a man in the house and all that. You can get $600-700 worth of stamps, and you can get your utilities bill paid, and you can live in that brick apartment that you want to call an apartment, but it's not, for the rest of your life for $5 or for free. It might be all good. And you teach your daughter the same thing. Baby, get you some kids and stay here. Because I've heard people even leave those apartments to their children like it's a will. No, you can't do that. Understand what you're doing to our African American families.
It's
See,
generational curses.
exactly.
It's generational curses. And it's like they think they own the apartment.
And you never will.
And the apartment is $900 a month or more in some cases. You don't qualify for Section 8, and you paying $900 a month on a $10 an hour job.
They've gotten so good that here I don't know if they have them up there in New York, but here they actually have built sections of houses. Like, they're really nice houses. But you
Lofts.
will not own them. You can't even start paying to own them to after 10 years of living in it.
Yeah, we got those here.
What kind of sense have
The
y'all
first 10
lost
years
y'all
go
doggone
the
mind?
first 10 years go to them. And they tell you got to stay in this house for 10 years before you can even sell it or anything.
After 10 years, the house done worn down. Somebody got to fix it. That's gonna be you. That's the first thing. But 10 years, that's almost, the house should be paid for after 10 years. Some of y'all done lost y'all mind. Y'all done
15-year mortgage with
project.
the right, yes. A 15-year mortgage with the right structure, you can have it paid off.
Exactly. Y'all done took the project mentality and let them lead you to a house that you still living in because it's still a project. It's still
And
a
then,
project.
and then what they left to do even at that point, what they're left to do at that point is they're left to fend for themselves and scrape and try to pay for something that they don't own, and then they end up having to have a balloon payment or refinance their house after being in there those 10 years.
Exactly.
I'm
And
refinancing something that's been 40 years paying for a house that I could have paid off in 15 years.
exactly. And that same house is still governed by the government. They're still telling you that you got to make a certain amount of money, which means if you and your husband making a certain amount of money, you can't even stay there. So you don't even put your husband's name on there. You're doing the same mess you were doing in the projects, moving from the projects into a house. You're still doing the same project mentality. And then you carrying it into your marriage.
Right.
Instead of buying land and building a house. Because if you buy the land, you can get a house built. So if he's making 20, 25, you making 20, 25, a bank will allow it because they know they can get your land if you don't pay for it. They know that, so they gonna let you build a house. Y'all just
Right.
don't know.
So our
Yeah.
role, our role,
Mhm.
our role becomes lost because
Mhm.
we have lost our way.
Very, very
We
true.
lost our way and we allowed ourselves to just say, forget it. The men, when they
Mhm.
went to the streets, the ladies, well, the men went to the streets, the sons being raised, stayed at the church, and they became using unnatural affection. Then we have then we have women saying, oh, it's okay, and it's not, and you know it. No, it's not okay.
Mm-mm.
So what's going to happen with the future preacher? What does the future preacher look like? Let's just go. Let's just be honest. So I'm 50.
Mhm.
I'm promised 70.
Mhm.
So if I live, and I hope I do, live to see 70 and be healthy,
Mhm.
my goal hopefully is to at least see 90. At that point, I think it's time to check out. Right. So okay. Right. So I mean, so if I got 40 years left on this earth, I have to first of all make this last 40 years of my life to be as productive as I possibly can, and hopefully leave a legacy to my kids.
Mhm.
Now, as far as the church is concerned, because I stopped saying homosexual,
Okay.
uh, I'm gonna tell you why. They're changing the Bibles. We're talking about the role in
Mm.
making all decisions and why do I need you, right? So they're changing
Mhm.
the Bibles, just so y'all know.
That's true.
They're getting ready to do away with the King James version. They already have their own version that they're using now. There is in circulation. And the
Mhm.
closest Bible to what you want to get is the NASB Bible. Far as your traditional vows, traditional scriptures that you're going to have to hold on to. They're not going to touch that one.
Mhm.
That's another day for another lesson. They're not going to touch that one in particular. That one is more sacred than the others. What am I saying? I'm saying this. When you use words that's in the Bible that they don't like right now because of this
Mhm.
cancel culture, and you say things like homosexual, and everybody freaks out because it's abomination unto the Lord. Everybody freaks out.
Mhm.
So what I've done is I've changed my language, not to conform,
Mhm.
but because the word says we got to become like them in order that we might win them. So
Mhm.
my thing is, so what I do is I put them all in one lump, and I call it all sexual perversion.
Mhm.
So now let's put them all in there. The adulterer, sexual perversion. The homosexual, sexual perversion.
Mhm.
LGBTQ2, right? And whatever. Put it all in there, sexual perversion. The pedophile, sexual perversion.
Mhm.
So now I need to be able to, it ain't you that I don't like. Like I got cousins who are a part of that community, right? I got family members who are part of that community. I got friends who are part of that community. However, my
Mhm.
job is to not to condemn you. My job is to preach the gospel.
True.
Now the gospel says that you need to come out from among that and take your role.
Mhm.
So what is my role when I don't know my role?
Exactly.
Because society tells me I need to just focus on getting my money. I need to focus on getting my money. So what's the future preacher going to look like? The future preacher is going to come out of that community.
Mhm.
And it's going to be okay to be anything that you want to be in God's house.
I mean, you already have that now. You have churches that have the first man and the pastor and the first man. You already have those. You have women
It's going to be
are
worse.
pastors of a church and have the first lady.
It's going to be, that's what I'm saying. That's what the future is going to be. Churches like mine is going to be a rarity. It's going to be like an ancient church. It's going to be the new old church.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing to me is when you these churches are overpacked, and not just with same sex couples, but men and women couples. I'm not understanding it. I'm not. They're overpacked. Like, I mean, you have 3,000-4,000 members that faithfully come every Sunday
Mm-hmm.
to your church. Faithfully. Even during COVID. I know one of these churches was still packed every Sunday during COVID. When it was even against the law for everybody to be at the church. So we are running to what society tell us is right instead of running to the roles that God has predestined for us. He has ordained, he has said what is right for us.
Right.
So, ladies, I'm telling you, even as a strong woman, I never wanted a man to submit to me. I don't. I mean, if we at home in
Didn't you say? Didn't you
that bed
say?
of marriage, that's different. Don't we ain't talking about that part. I don't want a man to submit to me. No, we ain't talking about the bed of marriage. Okay, that's a different story.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, Lord Jesus.
I'm just saying because that I'm just letting people know. I do not like in no form or fashion do I want a man to submit to me. I don't.
You shouldn't want a man to submit to you. You should want to be submissive to your man, but you should also perhaps exercise. So, for instance, so I use my coaching because that's just what I do. So,
Mm-hmm.
one of the situations that seems like it comes up a lot
Mm-hmm.
is when it comes down to people doing their own thing and having this double standard thing. He can do this, but I can't kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is you know what? You know what's gonna make a man go through a wall for you? Is the moment you want to go out with your girls and he hear you say, I gotta check with my man first.
Exactly.
Oh man, don't want to do that. I ain't gotta check with him. I'm just gonna go and do what I gotta do. He just gonna have to realize and know. And then the excuse, I ain't got no ring on my finger.
Even
No, you got no
even
ring on your finger, but you're giving it up like you got a ring on your finger.
you better say that. But marriage, I want. Yeah, I don't. I want him to ask me. I want him to ask me, baby, is it all right for us to go hang out, me and the fellas? That's
But
just
can
out
you
of
do it?
respect.
But can you do it?
I don't. I do that anyway.
And then he say, no. Is it a debate?
You know why a man is never gonna say no to that? Because if he want to go hang, because see, this is the problem. This is the problem with y'all. I'm gonna help some of y'all right now. Y'all are friends with people who are not married in good marriages, first of all, or you're friends with people who are single. And then y'all trying to go hang out with these people. So you got friends that your husband know is trifling that you want to go hang out with. He know you don't need to be hanging out with LaQuanda. LaQuanda is trifling. LaQuanda gonna tell you to go cheat on your husband and probably cheating with somebody else's husband. That's probably why he don't want you to hang out with her. Or your husband is friend with somebody who got 2-3 wives or 2-3 girlfriends. Y'all better learn to find some couples, friends who got some common sense, who know God, who is still fun to be around. Then you won't have no issue with you hanging out with the guys and she hanging out with the girls. That's a lot of people's problem. Cause I wish my man would. I'm gonna tell you, my first husband, he didn't. This is what he didn't realize. All your coworkers, we were hanging out. All of them were married. Two of your coworkers were trying to holler at your wife when your wife tried to tell you, baby, don't bring these men to the house because they doing stuff that men shouldn't do as husbands. They trying to holler at your wife. You think your wife just being funny, don't you want you to hang around? Okay. But when you got to work late, them men coming to your wife's door trying to knock in. But you got some women that gonna let them in. That's what I'm trying to say to y'all. Y'all better pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So to that, Marcus, yes. Out of respect, I want him to ask me. I'm gonna tell him yes. Out of respect, I want him to tell me yes. Because I got some sense to have some good friends. Now, if I got some trifling friends, I know he gonna tell me no. I mean, if that's cool, yeah.
Right.
So, but I don't want no man that's not submissive. I said that wrong to be funny, Marcus. You just shake your head at me like,
Cause somebody gonna run with that.
I was playing, y'all. No.
I know you joke. I know you joke, and I know you play, and I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. But sometimes, like even me, when we joke,
Mm-hmm.
when we playing around, we still have to remember that people are not only watching, but they taking note, and
Mm-hmm.
they're watching body language. They listen to not necessarily the content of what's being said and the context of what's being said, but they're looking for validation for them to go and live in the way that they've been living.
Mm-hmm.
So as ministers of the gospel, we have to be ever so careful still in what we say and how we say it and what we do to make sure that we bring it back to the place of holiness, because we don't want people to trip over us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want people to trip over us in a sense where they think we're saying it's okay. And then what happens? Our good be evil spoken of, right? Because it was in the right place. It was in the right place, and it was meant in the right, space. But this person that's only tuned in for 2 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
they catch that one part, and what do? That's what you said. I seen on your show. And then what happens? 5 years from now, we be like, I don't even remember what I said. I got to go back and look at that.
They better know I'm an elephant.
Huh?
I'm an elephant.
I understand we might not forget, but I'm saying.
But I mean, in the same token, though, having a man that does submit enough, has enough, that's man enough to submit enough to say, "Baby, can I go out with the guys?" There's nothing wrong with that. It's not lowering you as a man. It's not making you not be the man. It's just showing your wife enough respect to say, I want to do this. Is it all right with you? And asking, you might not know, because you might have actually forgotten that you had an appointment that you might have had. So asking is not an issue, because you might not even know you had to go. You might have to go to the doctor, or y'all might have had a dinner date with some friends, or anything, or she might have had a date where she needed you to go with her to get a business deal done. Anything. So vice versa, asking each other, it shouldn't be an issue. It should be a sign of respect and a sign of, okay, well, baby, did I forget something? But you just giving the respect to ask. Or your
Right.
child might actually have a ballet and you forgot all about it. I know I would. I forget all the stuff I do. I hope my husband would tell me.
It's all good.
I don't know. Let me start saying children, because it'll be my luck. God give me about 5 children and I get married again. I'll be like, golly.
I wouldn't bring a kid in this world for nothing.
I
Someone
used
had asked me. Someone has asked me if I wanted more kids.
to.
I don't think that I would deny my wife from having a kid, but you better believe, nah, this world is cruel. And like I said, I'm 50. So I'm gonna be 70 years old. My son will be 20. I'm gonna leave him fatherless. If I live to be 80, he's 30. That may not be enough time to do with him what I need to do. I don't know. But to have to dodge the shot, to have to dodge other thing that's going to take place,
Mm-hmm.
I could do it. I'll be like Jesus I'll be like Jesus' parents and take him and hide him in the doggone manger, some doggone where for a while. I mean, it'll be the second coming. It'll be the second coming because I know the second coming ain't coming that way, but I'm saying it'll be the second coming.
Really
She
work.
like, they be like, wait a minute. I'm like, no, we gonna replay this right here, buddy. You ain't gonna get no.
Touch God. I hope God gives you a wife who is not interested in having more children then.
Hey, like I said, his perfect will would be perfect, but I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to travel. I'm ready to travel and enjoy my life. Me and my wife buy a house, build a house, whatever she want to do.
You can travel with the baby.
Again, I gotta dodge the shot. I gotta dodge. I gotta do all this stuff.
I made myself laugh.
I gotta
I got
dodge
a
the shot.
friend. I got a
Huh?
friend who had a baby at 40 something. They
I'll
be
have a
their
kid.
baby.
I'm not. Uh-uh.
Let me stop messing with you, Marcus.
I used to maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. Probably would have been like, okay, if it's gonna happen, let's do it now. Now I'm telling you, I turned 50 and I got a whole new birth. It's a whole new birth. It's a you wait till you turn 50. It's a whole new, it's a new awakening. It's like being born again.
Touch God.
It's like being born again. And you thinking different now. You just automatically you just turn, it's like a switch went on. And you start thinking, I gave them 25 years of my life working, building up Social Security that hopefully is there when you get there, right?
Exactly. Hopefully.
So now it's time to work for me. If I can work for them for 8 hours, surely I can work for myself for 4 hours. That's why I'm building this business to where I'm walking out, knowing your role, right? If I make all the decisions, why do I need you? She's not going to have to make all decisions.
Yeah, you that few 30% right there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the activity for today. Go to your quiet place, pray, and meditate. And please don't take over the place that your husband created for himself, ladies. You know you will try to do it, so don't do that. I just thought you needed to hear that. Let his man cave be his man cave. Create you a woman cave if you need to. Okay. And pray for God to help you to stay in your role. Ask God to help you to understand your role and to pray for God to give you the patience to wait and work with your husband to make decisions together, including financial decisions. And I'm going to add on, if your husband isn't making decisions, to ask God to give him the guidance to start making those decisions. Don't just continue to make decisions yourself. And start teaching together, teaching your son
how to be a man,
yes,
and teaching your daughter how to be a woman.
Yes.
Strong, but sophisticated.
Very true. So we can start building our African American homes back to where they should have been a long time. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great season. I really enjoyed you guys. And I know we talked about some stuff and we would, look crazy and get some sidetracks and all that stuff. But hey, everything we said was to help you guys to grow, whether you're in a marriage, in a relationship, or want to be. We're preparing you. And whether y'all know it or not, we're still talking to ourselves as we do these episodes to prepare ourselves for our future husband and our future wife.
It's on the way. It's on the way. It's on the way.
What y'all say then? And we get to like episode to season 3, and I be like, yeah.
Lord have mercy on that.
Don't do that, Marcus. Don't do that. It might be episode. It might be season 2.
Claim it.
I done claimed it. Me and God done had this conversation.
In God's timing, everything is going to happen for you.
Oh, it's coming because I feel the eagerness. I feel the acceptance of my role that I did not want to accept a long time ago. And see, ladies, when you don't accept your role, you're not gonna get the man you're supposed to get. Because if I had accepted my role a long time ago, I would have had the husband I was supposed to have. Because God showed it to me, but I didn't want to accept my role. Hmm. Don't be
And I
doing
just want to say, there's no shade against the people who preach, who are, the apostles or lady apostles and so forth,
it.
or bishops for that matter. The thing is that if you have that manly type of position, or that manly type of role, or that manly type of title,
Mm-hmm.
don't let the title overrule your husband
Mm-hmm.
as man of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes competition. And I've heard with my own ears some women, apostles and bishops, say, I preach better than him anyway.
And that's supposed to be your covering.
You know what I'm saying? And he's supposed to be your covering. And that's the man that God chose for you to be meek and mild mannered and so forth. And he's not he's not an orator the way Bishop Jakes or someone else is. God didn't give him that thing. He gave him what he needed for him. When y'all was just dating, everything was cool. But now because you seem to be you have more language in the church than what he has, and he's a student of the word, so he presents the word as a workshop, and you're
Mm-hmm.
upset because he presents the word as a workshop where you might walk the floor and you want to do deliverance. Okay, do deliverance, but did you get your husband's okay? He's still man of the house.
Mm-hmm.
They said, well, I'm the pastor. What is he? He's man of the house at the house of God.
Exactly.
You might be his pastor, but he's still your covering.
Hmm. And if your house is out of order, that means you out of order.
Man, I'm just trying to help somebody because I
Please.
know that masculine spirit that comes in the church,
Exactly.
and you can't have a masculine spirit coming from the pulpit and an effeminate spirit coming from the praise team. And I'm gonna leave it right there.
Don't make me throw this book. You confusing these little children. Y'all, ooh.
We got to preach to two mommies. We got to
Hmm.
preach to two daddies.
Hmm.
And then they don't want to hear the truth because what the Bible say, they reading it in black and white. Then why did you come to church then?
That's why we got more. I know you said earlier about society teaching you about finances, but now you got more churches teaching you how to get the finances so you can pay the tithes instead of teaching you what's wrong. That's why you got more there now.
Holiness is still right. But they ain't coming to that church.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
People say, well, Pastor, what happened to your church? I started preaching holiness. I like to have fun. I like to joke like anybody. I like to say, even for myself, I'm probably more sinner than anything in the sense of, okay, whichever way the wind is blowing up, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
As far as okay, I don't want to be a legalist in God's house.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I going to do? Sola scripture. I'm going to read the scripture. Here's what the scriptures say. Let's do that, and let's teach it where it's not an error.
Hmm.
Let's teach it where it's not an error. So I get in trouble. So they say, oh, he's more of a teacher than a preacher. Well, didn't the word of God say the teacher is the greatest of these?
Exactly.
He has the greater responsibility of these, from the fivefold ministry.
And at this moment in time, that's what people need. They need teaching.
Forget
They
hooping and
need to
hollering.
know the word.
Hooping and hollering. Oh boy, this probably should be off air. You might have to edit this. I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't know what you're gonna do with this one. I don't know where it's gonna land me, but I will
It's
say
part of
this.
knowing their role. It's
I
a
will
part of
say
knowing
this.
their role. Because if the people of God need people who don't even know God and people who do know God
Watch
don't need
this.
to hoop to them.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. So in March 2020, the church is shut down because they had to because of COVID.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What I found is I was out there marching. I was out there. I spent half the night with the people that was protesting downtown Buffalo,
Mm-hmm.
the square. I didn't show up for these traditional photo ops. I didn't do that. But what I found was it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I found the preachers
Mm-hmm.
running in the house and scared of COVID and literally stopped preaching the gospel, went weeks without giving the word, even giving a traditional Bible study on Zoom or Facebook Live or IG Live. They didn't do anything, scared. And you know what it reminded me of? It
Hmm.
reminded me of when Jesus Christ told the disciples or the apostles to go up into the upper room and wait until they be endowed with power of the Holy Ghost coming in.
Hmm.
Acts 2:2-4. And then when the Holy Spirit came in like a mighty rushing wind. But
Mm-hmm.
those men that was in the upper room were all afraid of the Romans. So
Hmm.
COVID was symbolic to the Romans when it comes down to the church of God.
Hmm.
And the men were afraid. It sounded like there was more, getting in front of the camera and having a statement about we still believe in this and we believe in that and don't
They
take
can do
our
it.
rights. They were there for that. But they left absconded. The Bible says in Ezekiel 34th chapter, it says that woe unto the preacher who doesn't see about the sick and the shut in. I'm paraphrasing that scripture,
I
but
know.
it says that if you basically have caused my sheep to scatter,
Hmm.
right? You have not seen about the sick and the shut in. And you know, there are some leaders who haven't even called their people since COVID came last year.
Don't make me throw a shoe at you like to do in church, Chad.
So you calling yourself apostle,
Hmm.
pastor, prophet, prophetess, evangelist, pastor, and any
Hmm.
other thing. But when it comes to your people,
You ain't,
you didn't even call. You only got 10 people. You can't call the 10.
you ain't even checked on them. Nothing.
You got a multi-million-dollar church, and you have a system where you can just type in the button and type in and call everybody and say, I'm just thinking about you, Sister Carol, blah, blah, or church, this is your pastor. I'm thinking about you. If you need us, this is what we're doing. We're not going to be in the church, but we will be doing this, that. So you couldn't even do that.
I can tell you what they did do though. They asked them to pay their tithes
They
through
did do
Cash
that
App,
though.
through PayPal, drop it off at the church. They
Cash App, Cash App, Cash App stock went right up.
Giftlify. They asked for
I
that.
forgot about that one.
Mm. They even came up with some new apps when COVID came out.
Yeah, all kind of stuff coming out. I'm gonna come out too. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yes.
Take me a nap.
Oh yes, you have to go to work in the morning
Gotta go to work.
as a man.
As a man. I
All
make my
right.
own decisions. If I gotta make my own decisions, I gotta make my own decisions. I gotta make my own decisions. I gotta get up.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting off. We have had an amazing season again. As I said, we enjoyed you guys. If you haven't purchased the book, go ahead and purchase the book. I mean, because we're getting ready to do season 2. Can you imagine season 2? What are we going to be talking about in season 2? Well, let me tell you.
Start off with me, don't it?
Yeah, serve with gladness. Girl.
Serve with gladness. See, that's why you want to let her win.
So he can let you serve.
See,
He can serve.
you ain't know it was coming back the other way.
And then we're going to be talking about I just love me some him. What? Now you love him. You ain't like him the other day, but now you love him. Trust
Yeah.
the process of God. No, understanding. We're going back to your role, understanding your role. No more independent. Do you know what that means? Y'all know. Y'all be spelling out that word. Y'all be on the dance floor spelling out the word. So yeah, be ready for season 2. All right, guys. We love
Have a
you.
wonderful night.
Yes, we appreciate you. Please be safe out there. Please continue to pray. Go to your room. Meditate. Remember, if he or she doesn't want to pray, you still pray. Don't force it. Don't let your pride keep you from praying if they're not praying. None of that stuff. Don't be acting all out of character when they don't make decisions. If he is not pleasing you or she is not pleasing you, do not act all funny. Ask them very nicely. All those great things. Be responsible. I'm just kind of, talking about everything we talked about. But the main thing, go into your quiet place every day. Give yourself time to think. If you do it early in the morning or late at night, do it every day. Anything you want to say, Marcus? He's just ready to go to sleep because he got to go to work because he is the man.
Have a wonderful night.
Y'all be blessed.